This is Pizza Dude Man Goose for Smash! Goose is a goose. I'd like to see the Goose retain the same artistic style as the Untitled Goose game. It's three-dimensional, but not completely realistic or super cartoony, somewhere in between with no visible outlines. The Goose is relatively short and light compared to the human characters, but highly mobile. He has a low duck and a crawl that doesn't lose speed, allowing it to make quick, safe approaches. Additionally, as a goose, the Goose is especially proficient in the air, with a full set of 5 mid-air jumps like Kirby. Just like in the Untitled Goose game, the Goose grabs and uses items with its beak. Even though it's fictional, one concern I do have with the concept is attacking a small, somewhat real-looking and behaving animal. It's why I never got into the idea of Nintendogs being playable in Smash. Launching and hearing what feels like an actual puppy just... Maybe I'm being overly cautious here, but I propose special hurt animations for the Goose. When hit in a close range combo, the Goose simply looks panicked, with visible sweat beading off and flaps its wings. It doesn't make sounds as if it's hurt, but the damage percentage still goes up as normal. When being knocked away, it appears as though the Goose is panicked and running or flying away. And when launched, it looks like the Goose is completely booking it and literally flying away from the situation. So basically, losing a stock for the Goose just means it got so scared it retreated from the stage. But it'll be back. This might be all totally unnecessary, but I think it fits anyway, kinda matches things in the Untitled Goose game. With that covered, let's actually get into the Goose's moveset. The Goose's attacks may not be very strong, but many of them have special properties that can give it an advantage. Its neutral attack is a honk. The Goose releases 3 visible sound waves from its beak simultaneously, which deal light damage and knock opponents away. Although it's only a single hit, it's fairly quick and can be spammed. For the dash attack, the Goose pushes and chases a toy car. The Goose doesn't deal damage here, it's the car, so it's basically a floor-based projectile. If used near an edge, the car will go sailing off before disappearing. Forward tilt is a forward peck. It trades more power for less knockback compared to the neutral attack, but is still just as spammable. The up tilt is a simple, single flap of the Goose's wings above itself. It's all around very weak, which makes it great for juggling. Down tilt is a crouching bite. It actually functions more like a grab, although it doesn't break through shields. If it connects, the opponent takes damage and trips. The Goose's smash attacks utilize some of the interactable objects from the Untitled Goose game. For forward smash, the Goose picks up a trash can lid. It doesn't blast opponents far, but it does make the Goose immune to front-facing attacks during the duration of the move, including grabs, providing a great defense against rushing opponents. The Goose flips up an umbrella for their up smash. It's an automatic 2-hit combo, one for the swing and one when the umbrella opens. The second strike covers a wide arc above the Goose's head. Down smash is a strong kick to both sides, accomplished by the Goose picking up and swinging an old boot around. The aerial attacks include even more objects. For neutral aerial, the Goose whips out a radio and blasts loud music. This produces wavy, visible sound waves on all sides, which strike opponents with an electric effect. For forward aerial, the Goose kicks over a bucket. This becomes a falling projectile, much like Mr. Game & Watch's forward air. The bucket deals very low damage, but carries enemies downward while present, which can make it very dangerous against airborne foes. For back aerial, the Goose brandishes a knife! It's one of the Goose's more powerful attacks, but it has a very small and precise hitbox. For up aerial, the Goose plays with a toy plane. It's not that strong on its own, but if you hit an opponent with the propeller, it will carry and combo strike the opponent in an arc. And for down aerial, the Goose attempts to carry the Gardener's hammer. This works as a straight downward diving attack, but it doesn't necessarily go all the way to the ground. The move has a set distance before the hammer disappears, and if the Goose hasn't reached the ground yet, it'll go back into a regular fall. It can even follow up with additional jumps if it has them available. Just like with items, the Goose grabs with its beak, then pummels by biting down on the enemy. Forward throw is a honk that launches the opponent forward. For the back throw, the goose drags the opponent along the ground and releases them. Up throw is a simple upward toss. And for the down throw, the goose quickly sets the opponent down, slamming them into the floor. As the goose has alternative hurt animations, being knocked down just makes the goose appear as though it's laying down, while being observant. The forward floor, back floor, and trip attack are all a honk on both sides. The goose grabs ledges using a combination of its feet and its beak. The edge attack is a low, rushing honk. The goose's neutral special is its main trick. It is a much bigger honk. This honk produces a large circular sound wave around the goose. Enemies hit with the wave experience an effect that's like an opposite of Mario's side special. It forces opponents to face the goose. You'll know if it worked because an exclamation mark will appear above the opponent's head. This allows you to call back opponents attempting to run away, save allies, or even ruin someone's attempt at recovery. Although this is a non-damaging move, it is very annoying and can be very dangerous. Side special is called Sneak and combines a few of the goose's powers. It acts like a dodge. The goose rushes or flies forward and a bit into the background, making it immune to attacks. It goes further than a regular roll, but the goose still faces the same direction it was heading, and there's a bit of end lag as the goose readjusts back into the stage. It's a nice escape maneuver. Additionally, if the goose is currently not holding anything and passes by an opponent holding an item, it will snatch the item away. The up special is Flap. The goose rapidly flaps its wings, giving it a limited time to clumsily fly before going into freefall. It's nothing special, but combined with its multiple jumps, the goose has some great recovery. It's tough to get rid of the goose. And for the down special, the goose summons a sprinkler. It starts shooting water everywhere. If the honk was an opposite of Mario's side special, the sprinkler is an opposite of Fox's neutral special. The rapidly spraying drops of water deal no damage to opponents, but continuously stun them, trapping enemies nearby. This allows the goose to use its weak attacks to rack up damage or attempt to set up for a smash attack. It can even be used in tandem with the honk special to try and force opponents into the sprinkler's range. After a time, the sprinkler will disappear. If used in the air, the sprinkler will drop and disappear quickly if it doesn't reach the ground soon enough. The falling sprinkler deals light damage and knockback, but does not spray water. The final smash is called Bell Parade. The goose pulls out a big, beautiful bell and rings it while charging forward. The sound waves stun and lock opponents in place. Meanwhile, the goose is followed by the townspeople of the Untitled Goose Game, who trample and blast away any of the goose's enemies they run through. It's a bit of an extended version of Ganon's final smash, with less power but more distance. The goose's on-screen appearance is popping out of a bush while honking. For side taunt, the goose bows downward, sticks its beak into a bottle, and lets out a non-damaging echoed honk. Afterwards, the goose briefly keeps its beak in the bottle for a short time so the taunt can be spammed. Likewise, the up taunt gives the goose a harmonica. After playing a note, the goose holds it for a little longer so it can be used in quick succession. Down taunt is a parody of Snake's taunt. The goose hops into a box. However, it quickly jumps back out and the box vanishes, so it cannot be used to deal damage. In Victory Screen 1, the goose shows off its bell, ringing it several times before tossing it down and letting out a victory honk. Victory Screen 2 shows the messy neighbor crouched down. She stands up and walks away, revealing a very pleased-looking goose with a ribbon around its neck. For Victory Screen 3, the goose honks, bows, and flaps its wings, then gets showered with flowers. The victory theme is presented today by Terminator Jackknife and is based on the music played on High Street. The goose's default look is a white domestic goose, and the alternate costumes are based on other geese, presented by R.A. Carter. There's the Canada goose, gray-lag goose, bar-headed goose, red-breasted goose, blue-winged goose, spur-winged goose, and Egyptian goose. The Kirby hat is a goose hat and beak, and yes, that means it gives Kirby the ability to honk. I've actually already covered a fair number of indie characters on this series at this point. Among all these choices, is a Goose really a contender as a Smash newcomer? Well, I can't say for certain, but Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of the moveset or what you think of the Goose in Smash in the comments below. See you next time for the next character.